Thank you very much, Tony. So I'm now going to take us into a bit about dark web data collection now. So organizations often come to us as they've tried to, at differing levels, to monitor dark web information themselves. However, often ultimately they find it too time consuming to do so. So I wanted to run through two different kind of ways of collecting dark web data. So the first is point in time, and most of the customers that come to us have tried this approach. It's logging on, having a look around Tor, you've got some login creds for some sites, and you go and have a look around at that point in time. So the real challenges people find about that is the access and accuracy. They still need to create and manage profiles for sites, some of which are referral only. There's no guarantee that what you're looking for is still actually on that site as well and hasn't been deleted. So we see that, especially for things like initial access brokers, when they post access to an organization, that post can be up and down very quickly. So if that access is sold within a short amount of time, the initial access broker will actually delete that post off. So if you're going and looking for it, there's no guarantee you're going to still see it there. So that kind of access is difficult as well. And also it's quite a time consuming endeavor. There's a lot of sites out there to monitor. You have to go to the sites one by one and navigate around the sites and try and find what you're looking for. So it's the simplest approach and it's the cheapest approach, but it does come at the cost of accuracy and the effort of finding results. And the alternative to that kind of point in time collection that some organizations try and move on to is more of the automated collection. And with automated collection, you get a whole new set of challenges. So things like having to maintain many accounts for each site due to account bans occurring frequently if you're crawling that site. It is a massive game of cat and mouse. Some sites are much better at blocking than others. Some sites, if you're crawling, you'll get banned in a day. Others maybe a month. It really differs. So simply maintaining enough active accounts is a challenge in itself. And if you think about trying to maintain those active accounts, some sites just block the creation of new accounts for periods of time. So there's been sites that you just can't register a new account for a month. They've just stopped all access. So if you're trying to automate this, you've got to have that reserve of accounts as well. It's not just the case that if your account gets banned, you go and create a new one. It's not always possible. So still on automated data collection, there's complex captures to solve as well. I don't know how many of you have been on Tor sites trying to get access. Sometimes the captures are hard enough for me to solve. They're so random. Trying to automatically or programmatically solve them is extremely difficult and requires strong technical skills to be able to create that sort of thing. The other option is you end up having to pay for human resource to manually sit and solve captures every time you want your crawler to go onto those sites. Other challenges, so some sites we capture are from the clear web. They're not all dark websites. And so you think, great, it's a clear website, less challenge. Well, then you start facing Cloudflare, who are a $30 billion company and don't really like people crawling. And so you end up playing, again, cat and mouse against a $30 billion company who's trying to block you from crawling them. And to gain access to certain forums, you need higher rank accounts as well, which requires a reputation on that site to be built up over time, which, as you can imagine, if you spend time and effort building the reputation of these accounts, the account gets banned, you're back to stage one again. So it can be quite infuriating. It's quite a challenge. And lastly, one of the big challenges of this automated data collection is site structures changing. So you can capture data in a number of different ways. You can just go in and collect all the HTML of the page in a very simplistic format, which is quick and easy, and it's agnostic of really the site structure. But then when you're actually reviewing that data afterwards and you want to be able to pivot between different things and understand it, if you've just captured the raw HTML, it's not that good. So what we do is we build crawlers that are much more specific to the structure of that site. So as we're collecting the information, we've got it in context to that site specifically, which is great until the site changes its structure. And then you've got to go and sort your crawler out and do that all over again with hundreds of crawlers working, with multiple crawlers per site doing different things. It's a real challenge. So hopefully that kind of gives a good example of the kind of two different ways that customers tend to come to us. They've tried both ways. Often it turns out really it's not something that organization is really set up for, which is why they tend to come to us after a while.